Madison Square Garden in New York, where later this evening we will present Lewis versus Grant. Our card begins with a heavyweight bout featuring Wladimir Klitschko taking on David Bostice. Next up, the exciting and gutsy Arturo Gatti faces Eric Jakubowski. That'll be followed by a featherweight championship between title holder Paul Engel and former bantamweight champion Junior Jones. And then the main event. Two of boxing's all-time biggest heavyweights, champion Lennox Lewis and rising star Michael Grant, battle for the heavyweight championship of the world. Too Big is being brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the undisputed, undefeated king of beers. This Bud's for you. Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. And by TVKO, pay-per-view entertainment from HBO. Saturday night in New York City, where entertainment options abound, but taking center stage tonight will be a heavyweight bout that could be of epic proportions. And good evening, everyone. I'm James Brown, and welcome to TVKO's presentation of Championship Boxing. Lennox Lewis will put his championship on the line tonight against a huge power-punching youngster, Michael Grant, widely regarded as the top heavyweight contender in the world. That will be coming your way around 11:30 tonight in the main event. But up first, the undercard action. And for that, let's send you downstairs ringside to the guys who will call all the action tonight. Larry Merchant, Big George Foreman, and our anchor, Jim Lampley. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, James Brown. We'll turn to the undercard in just a moment. But first, a chance for our two expert commentators here at ringside to make their first comments on the evening with regard to the heavyweight championship fight to take place a little bit later on between Lennox Lewis and, of course, Michael Grant. Two-time heavyweight champion George Foreman. George, Lennox Lewis comes off his two big fights with Evander Holyfield, most important fights in his career, and he accomplished his lifetime ambition, became the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So let's take a look now at the list of the other men from outside the United States who have held the heavyweight championship in the 20th century. And you see here that together, these 5 fighters added to an aggregate of about 10 years when the championship didn't belong to an American fighter. Now, boxing's popular appeal once again in question. Do people in the United States, do fight fans in the United States, wait for the moment now when an American fighter like Michael Grant will take the title back?
I don't think so. When you look at Lennox Lewis' record, he's the most American foreign fighter there is. He's had most of his boxing matches right here. American trainers probably have a home or two right here. So, and we've seen a lot of him. We know more probably about him than the people in Europe. So I think that it's different. We feel like the title belt is at home as long as Lennox Lewis has it right here.
Well, I'm sure Lennox feels the same way, and he'll have a chance to make that statement again later on tonight. Working with us also TVKO boxing analyst Larry Merchant. And Larry, it's no secret Michael Grant looked vulnerable in his setup fight for this against Andrew Galata. Even those people who criticize him not on the basis of not having the tools to be heavyweight champion of the world. They just say that he isn't quite ready. So is he still a work in progress, not ready for the task that's facing him tonight?
Jim, I think we're all a work in progress. In fact, many heavyweight champions were considered not quite ready, works in progress, when they were challengers. Just recently, Holyfield, too small. Bo, too soft. Lewis, too timid. Tyson, too young, overhyped. And going back a way, Muhammad Ali, as they say here in New York, forget about it. No chance. As for experience, a couple of pretty good heavyweights named Marciano and Holmes had negligible amateur careers, like Grant, and actually turned pro at an older age than Grant did. You can't dismiss experience, but the real issue tonight is Michael Grant good enough? Period. Question mark.
All right, we'll find out later on, as we said. But first, let's start the evening off with a heavyweight battle, and we're going to see young Wladimir Klitschko. If you watched HBO's Boxing After Dark 4 weeks ago, you saw his brother Vitaly embarrass himself by quitting in the late rounds of a fight he was leading and would have won against Chris Bird. Now, Wladimir gets a chance to redeem the family somewhat and to take a step toward a possible heavyweight title shot down the road for himself. The younger Klitschko brother, 1996 Olympic gold medal winner in the super heavyweight division, is 32-1. His loss to Ross Purity, not unlike his brother's loss to Bird, in that he won most of the rounds and was headed to victory before he quit toward the end of the fight. His opponent tonight is a hard-punching David Bostice, a former Los Angeles gang member who's been through very rough moments in his life. He says, hey, getting into a ring with boxing gloves doesn't scare me. I've been shot at more than once. 22-1 with 1 draw and 12 KOs for Bostice, coming in as the opponent against Wladimir Klitschko here. And tail of the tape now, and Wladimir Klitschko, like his brother, is representative of the new wave of physicality in the heavyweight division, listed here at 6'5". In some quarters, you'll see his height listed at 6'7". He has a 2.5-inch reach advantage over Bostice. Both fighters weigh over 230 pounds, which now is a qualification for being near the pinnacle of the division. Rules of the bout with the unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Wladimir.
The Wladimir Klitschko David Bostice fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right, Harold, let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer to get the evening started in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Madison Square Garden, New York City, where tonight, Panics of the USA, main events, and your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, proud to be your bud, present an evening of professional boxing for your entertainment. All the bouts are sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, Chairman Mel Southard, Commissioners Mark Kornstein and Rose Trentman. Special Assistant to the Chairman, Jim Posanello. Executive Director, Tony Russo. Director of Boxing, Bob Duffy. Chief Physician, Dr. Billy Lathan. Medical Director, Dr. Robin Scarlata. Ringside physicians are Drs. Stephen Marks, Gerard Varlata, and Michael Fiorelli. Timekeeper at the bell, Jim Barzell, and the alternate referees will be counting for the knockdowns for all the bouts tonight. This bout is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it's for the WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. The 3 judges assigned to ringside, scoring the bout on a 10-point must system, will be Tony Paolillo, Luis Rivera, and Sid Rubenstein. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Joe Santarpia. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes to us from Mesa, Arizona, with a professional record of 22 victories with only 1 loss and 1 draw, 12 KOs to his credit. He weighed in at 230 pounds, wearing the green trunks. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the challenger, David, the Boss Bostice. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue, trimmed with white, weighing in at 242.5 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding 32 victories with 30 KOs and only 1 loss, and he has captured 3 international titles, including the WBC Intercontinental title, and he's the reigning European champion. Ladies and gentlemen, from Kiev in the Ukraine, here is the reigning WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Wladimir Klitschko.
Gentlemen, you both know the rules. I want a good, clean fight. Are there any questions? Shake hands now, and God bless you both.
This is Wladimir Klitschko's 9th fight since he lost to Ross Purity, a smart, tough journeyman from Oklahoma, when he just ran out of gas. He didn't know how to pace himself, had never gone beyond 6 rounds. That was not the same scenario as his brother quitting, although he feels that he's been stained by what happened in Berlin a few weeks ago.
And incidentally, the tail of the tape listed the 2 fighters at equal heights. When they stood together in the center of the ring, it became clear Klitschko is taller than Bostice by an inch or 2.
Both fighters are using the circular motion around the ring. One is backing up, but he's doing it in a circular fashion. That's the way you want to do with a puncher. Don't go straight back.
Bostice's trainer, Chuck McGregor, who has been in the ring against both Klitschkos, Wladimir and Vitaly, insists that neither Klitschko brother can fight well going backward. So he urged Bostice to find a way to back Wladimir up, just as at some moments in Berlin 4 weeks ago, Chris Bird was able to back Vitaly up. So far in the early going, though, it's been Wladimir who's had the initiative with his jab. Now there's a left hook to the middle of the chest by Bostice, and Wladimir comes back to stick the jab into his face.
It's obvious that Wladimir has a better use of the left jab. Both are throwing them, but one has power, and he has intentions of going over on top with a right hand. Bostice is careful, which he should be.
Already it's very evident, clear, that Wladimir is a much smoother, better coordinated athlete than his brother.
And he gets in a left hook, and down goes Bostice with a look of surprise on his face.
7, 8, you okay?
He was down twice against Israel Cole in his only loss. Those were the only 2 previous knockdowns for David Bostice. So a moment of surprise for him. And Klitschko didn't even seem to be putting full mustard on the left hook that put him down.
No, he just caught him right on the side of the head. Where
He had been throwing nothing but jabs, and when he caught him by surprise with that little left hook, I thought, George.
There he throws it again.
you see he takes a better right hand than the left, hit him on the left side, right side of the face, and he goes down.
Because that's a harder punch to see, the left hook. That's why.
Just that certain fighters got weak.
Oh, he hurt him again with the left hook. Now Bostice attacks, coming off the ropes, trying to buy some time.
You got to zero in on weaknesses on boxers. You can hit some guys on the chin all night, nothing happens. But you raise it up a little bit on the top of the head, and you'll drop it. There it is again. See that?
Hurts him again with the left hook.
See, I've always thought the left hook is the most.
This could be a first-round KO as Wladimir steps in and unloads against Bostice. He can't be saved by the bell. Goes down for the second time. 3. Count continues now beyond the bell.
5.
And Bostice trying to make it up.
7, 8.
Will beat the count and make it to the second round, but plenty the worse for wear after some accurate short left hooks by Wladimir Klitschko.
We continue?
Hey, man. What's you all right? I'm cool. You sure? Sure.
David.
What?
You sure? David. You're dropping your hands. You got to keep your head moving. Look at me. You're dropping your hands and pulling back. Where did we not want to go? Keep your hands up and your chin down and give me head movement. You want to fight, man? Yes. Okay. Give me head movement. Just relax. Just look at me. Stick with me. After throwing jabs for 2 minutes, that little left hook that Bostice never saw put him down. And Wladimir Klitschko tried to exploit it for the last 30 seconds of the round.
3 times in the first round, Klitschko hurt Bostice, all 3 with the left hook, pointing out George Foreman's point about find the right target and then go after it. See, he lands a big right hand there, and Bostice isn't as effective.
Yeah, 30 fighters. You got to look around and scout them and see who hurt, who, when, and where. And Klitschko has just got to jab, and look for good left hooks.
Well, by CompuBox numbers in the first round, he landed 26 of 38 jabs. Obviously, that makes it harder to deal with his power punches, too.
And Big David has just got to throw a lot of punches. As soon as he throws punches, Klitschko backs away.
And stops punching.
Yeah, so keep throwing shots. You don't have to be accurate. Make him back away.
And you heard David adamantly telling his corner he wants to fight.
Step back. Come on,
But
boys.
his head
Don't
and
push
legs
off.
still somewhat missing as he makes it to the second minute of round 2 and takes another big right hand and goes down for the 3rd time. David Bostice is outgunned against Wladimir Klitschko.
Yeah, he says this isn't like an alley fight. This is worse for him.
This is when your corner should come to your rescue now. He's being outgunned on both sides of the head now.
That ought to do it. That should be enough. Let's see if Joe Santarpia totally agrees. And that's the end of the fight on the 4th knockdown as Wladimir Klitschko rescues a portion of the family honor 4 weeks after his brother's embarrassment in Berlin with a resoundingly successful trip to Madison Square Garden. And Wladimir told us yesterday that he would like to take his paycheck from tonight and go to Vegas and double it.
Well, he may go to Vegas for a championship fight one of these years, and he can more than double it.
David Bostice upset with what happened to him. Klitschko closed the show, landing 8 of 14 power shots in the second round. And Larry, I agree with you. He's the more fluid and athletic of the two Klitschko brothers. George, what'd you think?
I think it was a good fight. I'm sorry for David Bostice.
Yeah.
He really wanted to win. He kept getting up, but he just was outgunned. Sometimes you got guys in there, got the greater power. You got to learn to move your head and back away from hurt. He was not willing to back away.
Too brief an exposure to make an ultimate judgment about Wladimir Klitschko's potential.
Too brief whatsoever. He didn't. I could see when the other guys start throwing shots, he would give ground easily.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see him 2 or 3 more times before I get judgment.
All right, let's look at the first knockdown in the second round, which was the third knockdown of the fight. And after knocking Bostice down twice with left hooks in the first round, Klitschko went to his bread and butter, the big right hand, in the second round, and landed this one on the top of the head, which more often than you would think is a blow that does damage.
A lot of that was he never recovered from the old left hooks in the previous round. It's a matter of him just trying now, fighting with heart.
Klitschko's overall strength, physicality, you know, the new generation of big heavyweights, George. You were the precursor.
Yeah, but you know what? It's going to take small guys to whip them. Never expect a lot from the big guys. You get some of these little guys, 6'1", 6'2", they clean up the division every few years.
Well, Bird cleaned up Vitali in Berlin despite the huge size disparity there. And
but I'd like to see this guy a lot. He's muscular. He's got good strength in his leg, long reach. He could be a great contender.
Got a great smile, good sense of humor. It was fun to talk to him yesterday. Let's go to Michael Buffer with the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joe Santarpia calls a halt to this bout. The official time, 1 minute, 27 seconds of the second round. The winner by TKO victory and still WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Wladimir Klitschko.
Like all great Ukrainian fighters, Klitschko uses Tina Turner music as his theme harmony in the ring. Final punch stat numbers, it was a wipeout. Bostice landing 6 of 96. Klitschko 56 of 90. And jabs, this is where the attack begins for Klitschko. And he landed 30 out of 46 for 65%. So this was a one-sided big victory for Wladimir Klitschko. And Larry Merchant stands by with him right now. Let's see if he'll speak English in the interview.
All right, thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Wladimir. Tell us how you have changed as a fighter since you lost to Ross Purity.
Okay, Ross Purity is don't more any question. When I have fight with Ross Purity, I can fight him and I win. And I have a first time in Madison Square Garden in New York, and he's so nice. In New York, it's crazy city. It's like Mars, like another one planet. And thank you very much.
All right, tell us what your plans then are. Do you want to fight Chris Bird, who defeated your brother, or do you want to go in another direction with your career?
Okay, my brother, after the 6 months or 5 months, he's ready for fight with Chris Bird, and he wins this fight. I know that he wins, and I think he can sell with Chris Bird, making anything.
All right. So what you're saying is that you prefer that your brother get a chance to redeem himself for what happened in Berlin, and that you're going to go and challenge one of the other title holders or the champion.
Also du sagst jetzt, dass dein Bruder lässt du ihn wie Chris Bird und du gehst zu anderen Leuten.
Okay, we have a dream, but with my brother. But anything come from the dreams. and we have really, really good and reality dreams. 2 world champions to be, 2 brothers and 2 world champions in heavyweight division.
Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Thank you, too.
Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Larry. Arturo Gatti scheduled next in the ring against Eric Jacob.